Hello and welcome to part 1 of tier 1 of the largest internet iceberg ever created. This iceberg covers so many things around the internet, from websites to people to YouTube, anything and everything in between. So due to this iceberg being 18 tiers long, the first couple layers are pretty obvious stuff. I mean, it takes 3 tiers to get to Christian, so I'll be starting this at tier 4, but I'm going to call it tier 1, and I'll probably end up coming back at the end of the series and recovering the first couple tiers that I skipped. But anyway, tier 1 has forgotten trends, websites the average person has never even heard of, controversies, YouTubers, real-life incidents, games, and much more. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started with MooCore. MooCore, or MuCore, or /MooCore, whatever you want to call it, is a collection of albums that were talked about a lot on the music board of 4chan. It mostly consists of indie or alternative bands like Neutral Milk Hotel, Radiohead, Weezer, American Football, Modest Mouse, and Kanye West for some reason. The albums are discussed on music communities all around the internet, like on Instagram or various subreddits, but all have little to do with each other at all, which makes it a little bit strange. Hashtag Change Discord. Starting this series off so strong, Change Discord is a 2019 Discord campaign against Discord mods that abuse their power, specifically furries. Before I explain, I have to let you know about the phenomenon that is cub art. So cub art is a term used in the furry community to describe art of young animals. And I'm using the word art to stay PG here. So what does this have to do with the Discord? It started with a screenshot of an email between a Discord user and admin, where the admin, who was a furry, said cub art was not a violation of the TOS, which is a little bit disgusting. But some people got really mad, Discord changed their TOS, and everything ended up okay. Hashtag Free Dorothy. Free Dorothy is another 2019 hashtag that went trending. There's a lot of these, by the way. This came from an Ariana Grande fan account that posted a tweet one day that she had her phone ripped away by her mom. The tweet for some reason blew up, and Dorothy continued to tweet from a Nintendo 3DS and a fridge. The hashtag got big enough for some popular accounts to post Free Dorothy as well. Dorothy, or Dorothy's mom, made a tweet saying, "I seen Dorothy has been using Twitter on her Nintendo. This account will be shut down now." Sadly, all the tweets are deleted now, but there's archives everywhere. Hashtag not intended to be a factual statement. This hashtag went viral in 2011 when an Arizona senator named John Keel said something that was completely wrong in front of the Senate, and later, after getting called out, said, "not intended to be a factual statement." People like Stephen Colbert made a joke out of it, tweeting something crazy and then following it with the hashtag, "not intended to be a factual statement," and it died out pretty fast. Hashtag Pitbull Dropoff. Pitbull Dropoff was yet again another hashtag in 2018, the last one by the way, that encouraged people to put it nicely, adopt pit bulls and then euthanize them to save children. Thankfully, no one actually does this, as far as we know. It's just a joke started by 4chan. But a lot of people are pretty understandably mad over this, especially the animal lovers, so it's probably for the best it died off. Exclamation mark, question mark, / unsearchable videos. Finally, we're out of the hashtags. Exclamation mark, question mark is an old video on YouTube that you can't really find by searching up the title, meaning the only way to watch it is by having it appear in your recommended. Totally by chance, by the way, but it's actually kind of common judging by the comments, so. It's just a video of someone playing Mario Kart, doing a little shortcut. There's a lot of other videos like this one by Vinesauce. What makes them unsearchable is the use of these weird invisible characters in the title, which YouTube doesn't pull up results if you search it. 1337X. 1337X is a file sharing website, or also known as a torrent site, that became the second most popular of its type. The site is a popular place for piracy, don't do it, as well as some malware. The legality of the website is kinda gray, and it's blocked in an oppressive list of countries. like the UK, India, Portugal, Australia, and more. 15.ai. 15AI was a AI voice website made by someone who goes by 15. The name of the site comes from the claim that the website can replicate any voice off of only 15 seconds of audio. It went viral in 2021 and gained lots of controversy from the voice acting community. I used "was" at the start of this section because the site got taken down in 2022 for a couple of legal problems. But the creator threw out the idea of making another version without the copyright issues, but it's still pretty inactive. 2channel. 2channel, also called 2chan, is a website very similar to 4chan, before Japan. Just like its counterpart, it's anonymous, which obviously brings out some terrible things in people. Most notably, people announcing their crimes before they commit them, such as the 2008 Akihabara massacre. 2 hours doing nothing. 2 hours doing nothing is a video on YouTube where this guy sits for 2 hours and does nothing. Apparently this video was only supposed to be 10 minutes long, but he sat there longer than expected. For some reason, someone counted how many times he blinks in this video, which is 362. So yeah, pretty cool. 2018 Hawaii false missile alert. In January of 2018, an emergency alert was sent out saying a missile was heading to Hawaii and to take shelter. People all across the internet freaked out, understandably. A lot of people made posts that were intended to be their sort of last words, and looking back at them now is extremely sad. 38 minutes after the first alert was sent, a second alert was sent, saying that it was just a false alarm. 2019 El Paso Walmart shooting. The 2019 El Paso shooting was a mass shooting that occurred on August 3rd of 2019 at a Walmart. A 21-year-old began shooting at 10 in the morning, killing 23 people and injuring dozens. The authorities described it as a hate crime and an act of domestic terrorism, as the shooter targeted mainly Hispanic people. 19 minutes before the incident, the man behind the shooting posted his manifesto on 8chan. His manifesto kind of outlined his motive for the attack, but it mostly contains his views on immigration and politics. The man behind it received 90 life sentences, and now pathetically sits in jail. Korean YouTube backdoor advertising controversy. This controversy happened in 2020, where Korean YouTubers would promote products without disclosing that they were actually doing a promotion. Most of the YouTubers that were heavily involved ended up losing some viewer base, or some of them ended up actually quitting, but most of them seem to have recovered by now. 3D GIF dubstep. 3D GIF dubstep is a strange trend where someone will put dubstep music over these low quality CGI GIFs that you see on these old websites. I'm not sure why this ever became a thing, but there's actually quite a few YouTube channels that have pretty crazy amounts of subscribers. There's also several gimmick accounts on Twitter that do pretty much the same thing as the ones on YouTube, which is kind of how the trend started. The main YouTube channel, just called 3D GIF Dubstep, is actually still active to this day, even if the trend was years ago at this point. So check them out if you want. 419eater.com. 419eater.com is a website for baiting scammers, specifically 419 scammers, or otherwise known as the Nigerian prince scammers. Most of the time, the scammers just get their time wasted. Sometimes they'll be baited into taking pictures of themselves, where they'll get posted in the Hall of Shame page of the site. Sometimes the scammers actually do get baited into sending money to the website itself, kind of scamming the scammer. And the website claims it donates this money to charity, but I don't know if that's confirmed. The bait operations of this website actually go so far that there's one that was 100 days long and sent the scammer from Nigeria all the way to Chad. There's many more scenarios where the scam baiters are actually able to convince the scammers to travel like pretty extreme distances just to find nothing there and kind of just waste their time, which has kind of become part of the website's philosophy, with one member saying every minute the scammer is spending on me is a minute he is not scamming a real victim. Seven Granddad. Seven Granddad is a bootleg hack of the NES game called The Flintstones, The Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. The hack replaces Fred Flintstone's sprite with Mario's, and the title is changed a little bit to say Seven Granddad, with some strange looking Mario bootleg off-brand abomination. It became well known online after YouTuber Vinesauce Joel found and reacted to it during a bootleg game stream.
Oh, let's check it out. Granddad! Flintstones? Oh, Granddad! Granddad!
Later, the meme spread farther through Siva Gunner, who used the Flintstones theme as well as the theme from Seven Granddad and Vinesauce Joel's reaction in his various video game soundtrack remixes. 8kun. 8kun is an anonymous image board launched in 2019 as the successor to 8chan, which was shut down after being linked to mass shootings such as the Walmart one I just mentioned. Originally created by Frederick Brennan, 8chan was revived as 8kun by Jim and Ron Watkins, facing significant hosting challenges and relying on Tor/Onion services to stay online. 8kun is pretty known for having some controversial content, leading to bans from a lot of the major web providers. Its structure kind of allows users to create and moderate their own boards, which does lead it to become a little bit of a refuge for these fringe communities. 8 Values. 8 Values is an online quiz that assesses a person's political beliefs based on 4 different axes: economic, diplomatic, civil, and societal. It assigns users a score on each axis and categorizes them into one of 8 political labels, ranging from libertarian socialist to fascist. The test became popular due to its simple approach and its ability to provide a more complicated set of political ideologies beyond the traditional left-right spectrum. Since its creation, 8 Values has very heavily influenced the political side of the internet, spawning numerous spin-offs like Left Values, Right Values, and Politiscales, which cater to more specific ideologies. It has widely been discussed on forums, social media, and different political communities. It is important to note, though, that it isn't entirely accurate, and it's mostly there just to get an idea of the user's political ideology so they can compare it and maybe do some research into it. Aaron Swartz. Aaron Swartz was a programmer in the 2000s. He's notable for helping in the development of Reddit and a whole other list of stuff. He was also heavily involved in internet-related activism, like the group he founded titled Demand Progress, which was against the Stop Online Privacy Act. In 2010, Aaron found an unlocked wiring closet at MIT and started downloading a ton of academic journal articles. MIT noticed that. They noticed that something was up, and they placed a camera inside the closet to catch whoever's doing it. The footage from the camera is actually still up on YouTube and can be found on the channel called Kevin Poulsen. Now that MIT knew Aaron was behind the article downloading, MIT decided they didn't like it, and they took Aaron to the courts. At one point, he was facing up to 50 years in prison. On January 11th of 2013, Aaron Swartz sadly took his own life, most likely due to the impending verdict. He left behind a massive legacy on the internet. He was also added to the Internet Hall of Fame. Abigail Elphick. Abigail Elphick, also known as the Victoria's Secret Karen, is the subject of a 15-minute video where she freaks out and says some pretty crazy stuff. Pretty much just a typical freak-out video. Many people criticize Elphick's behavior, comparing it to past Karen events. The person who recorded the original video, whose name is Ukenta, actually launched a GoFundMe campaign to seek legal action, which further added to the incident. The event became one of the most notable Karen moments of 2021. Absolute Nutcase 162. This is an account on Instagram that posts these really strange comics, usually with SpongeBob. It puts the characters in these crazy scenarios that make zero sense most of the time. If you ever seen that "Hey Squidward" meme?
Sure is nice driving my 2020 Chevy Silverado. Hi, Squidward.
This is actually where it comes from. A lot of different trends actually came from this account, so take a look if you want. Account hijacking. I think this is pretty low, since I feel like if you're on social media, then you have a guaranteed chance that someone has tried this to you. There's a really common one where someone you know whose account got confiscated will tell you they need help logging into their account. And if you help them, they're going to end up changing your password, locking you out, and taking your account, just to repeat the cycle on someone else. Pretty disgusting that people will actually do this, but they wouldn't ever do it if it didn't actually work. So stay careful on the internet. Adidas boob tweet. On February 9th of 2022, the Twitter account of Adidas posted a tweet with a grid of 25 women with their tits hanging out. The tweet read, "We believe women's breasts in all shapes and sizes deserve support and comfort, which is why our new sports bra range contains 43 styles, so everyone can find the right fit for them." The reason Adidas posted this was probably just to get attention from the shock value, but surprisingly, it's actually still up to this day if you want to check it out. Age of Empires. This is just a line of historical strategy games. I don't really know why this is so low on the iceberg, but it is kind of surprising how old it is, because the first game was released all the way back in 1997, and the series is still going on to this day. Agony. Agony is yet another game. It takes place in hell, and you have to try to find a way to escape. The visuals can be kind of disturbing, I guess, so maybe that's why it's so low, but again, like the last one, I don't really understand why this is so low, but if you do know, drop a comment. Agora's Road Macintosh Cafe. This is a forum site that takes on an old internet and vaporwave kind of look. The forum has some surprisingly interesting topics to read, but there are some people saying that the site suffers from the same thing that 4chan does, being extremism and disgusting people kind of finding their way onto there. Akihiko Kondo / self-shipping. Akihiko Kondo is a guy who claims to have a marriage with the anime character Hatsune Miku. Self-shipping refers to when someone sees a relationship between themselves and a fictional character, like what Akihiko did. Akihiko is also known as the pioneer for the fictosexual movement. Fictosexual meaning a relationship with a fictional character, by the way. Airsoft Fatty. Airsoft Fatty, real name Chris Lafone, is a YouTuber who is best known for his videos involving airsoft battles, lightsaber duels, and vlogs. He gained popularity in the late 2010s with his videos showing battles in his backyard, often featuring his friends in these crazy unscripted skits. He gained a following over time and his content expanded, including collaborations with other creators like YouTuber Filthy Frank and a documentary creator named Wavy Web Surf. Airsoft Fatty kinda became a meme due to his crazy moments, like in his cooking videos or his rants. He was also featured in a documentary made by YouTuber iDubbbz. And even though you can clearly see that he has some struggles,
I think I just shit myself.
Airsoft Fatty remains a wholesome and funny personality. Alan Resnick. Alan Resnick is the creator of many famous ARGs on the internet, and also a comedian, visual artist, and filmmaker. He made the series called Alan Tutorial, a series that looks kind of like a tutorial channel, but it slowly gets stranger as it goes on, with him seeming to get kidnapped almost. He went on to work at Adult Swim and made the shorts Unedited Footage of a Bear and This House Has People in It. His work is high quality and you could find several videos on each of them on YouTube. Alex Bale / SpongeBob Conspiracy. Alex Bale is a YouTuber with a bio that reads, "I make films and ridiculously elaborate fan theories about shows and movies made for children." He made a series of SpongeBob conspiracy theories, which, they did pretty well. And also he created a ton of other films and series like Pizza Time Pizza, which also did well, so check him out. Alien Myth 64. Alien Myth 64 is a YouTuber who uploads comedy skits, animations, and formerly YouTube poops. He has a series called Emo Bob, which is this emo SpongeBob looking thing. It's honestly pretty funny, so you should definitely go watch it. But something else that's kind of interesting is that throughout his 16 years on YouTube, no one has ever been able to figure out what his name is or what he looks like either. He even has 165k subscribers. Alternative history. Alternative history is a massive genre on the internet. Posts about alternative history would hypothetically change a certain event in history and predict what would happen after that to the modern day. Some popular examples are, what if Germany won World War II? And what if the Confederacy won the Civil War? And what if JFK was never assassinated? Popular communities and YouTube channels have been formed around the concept of alternative history, including the mapping community, which are videos that have sort of personified countries. You watch them fight and take over each other until there's only one left. Alternative history is definitely not restricted to the internet as well. There's books, movies, and more using the genre, like The Man in High Castle, which is a series about the aforementioned What If Germany Won World War II. All Tomorrows / Speculative Evolution. All Tomorrows is a book published in 2006 by C.M. Kozman. The basic summary is that humans got into a war with an alien species, which they then lost, and as a punishment, the aliens bioengineered the remaining humans to be significantly less intelligent and take on these weird, disturbing forms, and then left them to evolve. A retelling of the story was uploaded to YouTube in 2021, and it currently stands at 17.5 million views. The story brought popularity to the genre of speculative evolution, and some communities were able to actually form around it. Andrew Dobson / Tom Preston. This guy, Andrew Dobson, is a cartoonist who has created some nice work but has been heavily criticized for his reactions toward criticism, where he responds very negatively to. He would get into arguments or just block people who give him any criticism, even if constructive. In his early internet days, he would make some inflation art, which doesn't exactly help with his reputation. He also takes on the name of Tom Preston and Caddy N online. Andy's Apple Farm. Andy's Apple Farm is a 2021 horror game. The story goes that you're a beta tester for the game, and you play it and strange things happen, and there's dead guys, and then there's souls were put in the game, and you get the point. All the big horror gaming YouTubers obviously played it when it came out, so if you're interested, you should go check it out. There's a few jump scares though, but it's kind of interesting. Animal Crossing Space Buns Controversy. So this is a controversy over this image. Yep, that's it. More specifically, that the poster called it Space Buns, when there were apparently Afro Puffs. The original poster of the tweet allegedly got sent some rather nasty messages, and people went even as far as to try to hack into the account. It's really sad that people will spend that much time and effort on something that doesn't matter at all. Animal Jam. Animal Jam is a kid's game that's very reminiscent of Club Penguin. You play as an animal and you go around to these different minigames and other stuff where you get animal facts and trivia. The game also has RPG-like aspects, like customizable characters and your own house and stuff. The game surprisingly has a community with a subreddit of 26,000. Animation Domination High Definition. It's also called ADHD, but ADHD is a late-night block of cartoons on Fox. They make mostly comedic cartoons and hosted a YouTube channel where they were posted there too. The videos on YouTube received millions of views, and one of the most notable series they made is the Scientifically Accurate series, where they try to make a realistic approach to movies and other things. Unfortunately, they did shut down in 2016 and they haven't made an update since. I was kind of a fan of this channel actually, when it was still around. These videos right here were my favorites, so check them out. Animego Kigurumi. Animego Kigurumi is a form of cosplay where people try to look as accurate as possible to anime characters. Since the anime style is extremely unrealistic to how actual people look, they usually will wear a mask, and they actually do a pretty good job at replicating anime, as some of the images you'll find of this are, at least to me, a little bit creepy looking. Anna's Archive. Anna's Archive is a website that aims to catalog all books in existence. It currently links to around 40 million books and 98 million papers. The website doesn't actually have any files on it. So when you go to download something off of it, it technically comes from a different website, which is how they kind of get around the obvious legal issues. Anton Blast. Anton Blast is yet another game that involves Satan. The game is a platformer where the plot is that you have to take back spirits that Satan stole from you. The game came out in December of 2024, which is kind of strange to me because the Iceberg was posted in November of the same year. I get the Satan concept is a little strange. Again, I don't know why it's so low in the Iceberg, and we skipped 2 tiers, remember. But anyway, it's a cool game, and it did pretty well. Apollo Legend. Apollo Legend was a YouTuber who made videos about speedruns. He got a few hits by investigating and exposing alleged cheating incidents involving notable speedrunners, like Billy Mitchell and Todd Rogers. His expositions caused a removal of certain records as well. Sadly, due to a number of reasons, Apollo took his own life on December 30th of 2020 at the young age of 26. Arnold Schwarzenegger dropkick. So this happened in 2019. Arnold was at his event called Arnold Classic, which is a huge bodybuilding event. More specifically, Arnold Classic Africa. He was talking to a group of people and started to take a video when someone decided to run up and dropkick him. It's kind of funny because Arnold barely looks like he was even affected, and the security deal with the rest. The dude that did the dropkick was probably just desperate for attention and saw an opportunity to get it, but nothing else really happened. Art Fight. Art Fight is an art trading game that happens every single July. When the event starts, all the players are split into two random teams. The teams get points by creating art of the other team's characters, and whatever team has the most points at the end is the winner. It's been actually going on since 2015, and it has its own website you could check out. I believe this is a pretty big event in the art community, but it's been going on for almost a decade, which is pretty surprising. Atrioc/deepfake art controversy. So Atrioc is a streamer, and in 2023, he accidentally switched tabs to a website with deepfake art of his fellow streamers. This incident brought attention to the problem that is AI-generated art. In a surprising turn of events, Atrioc himself actually spent more than 100k to take down the AI art sites out of shame, I guess. AUOK. AUOK is a creepy Michael Jackson animatronic. Intended to be a tribute to Michael Jackson, it was created by a person named Thomas Reeducation and eventually got popular for being creepy. The name AUOK comes from the line, "Annie, are you okay?" in Michael Jackson's song. I would be surprised if you've never seen this image before. It's pretty prominent on the internet, especially on the horror side of the internet. Bad Dragon. If you haven't noticed, the entries are going in alphabetical order, and we're finally on to the B's. Anyway, Bad Dragon is a website that sells, you're going to have to hear me out here, adult toys. There's an emphasis on them being animal shaped, and the way they go about making these are a bit controversial, since they apparently use a technique known as live molding, and I'm not going to explain that one. Use your imagination. Balenciaga ad scandal. The Balenciaga ad scandal is referring to an ad made by Balenciaga, where a very young child is holding a teddy bear dressed in non-child friendly clothes. This obviously is a huge issue, and Balenciaga apologized after it started to be brought to light. There was also another ad that featured a page of a court ruling about CP, so that's really weird, but they got some appropriate backlash for it. Balkan memes. Balkan memes are memes related to the group of South European countries, which are labeled the Balkans. The memes are usually about how kind of tough the cultures of these countries are. The mapping community that I mentioned earlier ties into these memes pretty often, as well as a lot of geography-based and history-based communities around the internet. Banana Sprite Challenge. The Banana Sprite Challenge was a big thing in 2012, and through the rest of the 2010s. All you would do is eat bananas and drink a little bit of Sprite and not try to throw up. Bananas and Sprite actually don't have much special reaction that makes you throw up. It's more the fact that people would down a ton of bananas or Sprite into their stomach, and that typically makes you puke. You can find that some YouTubers are actually still doing this trend, so that makes it one of the longest lasting trends on the internet. Bane posting. Bane posting is a meme that comes from the movie The Dark Knight Rises, specifically the scene where Bane and the CIA agents interact on a plane. The meme involves quoting the dialogue, often in exaggerated or out of context ways. If you're wondering what the dialogue is,
you're a big guy. For you.
Bane posting is popular in communities like 4chan, and it evolved to include other Bane-related jokes. Bath salts. So bath salts are a drug that have nothing to do with bathing or salt, and have a very similar effect. Bath salts have a large presence on the internet, and you don't even have to dig that far to find a website where it's being sold. Don't do that, by the way. They're called bath salts due to their resemblance to Epsom salt, which is an actual bathing salt. And by the way, if you were ever thinking about doing this, here is a good list of reasons why you shouldn't. Baddington. Baddington is a FNAF-based YouTuber who is notable for making remakes of the analog horror FNAF VHS tapes. They're pretty creepy, so maybe that's why he's on here, but besides that, I don't really know. Bean Dad. Bean Dad is a nickname given to a dude named John Roderick, who is the lead singer of the band The Long Winters. In 2021, he made a tweet saying that his 9-year-old daughter wanted some baked beans, and John gave her a can opener to try to get her to figure it out. He said it took her 6 hours, and this got him a little bit of controversy. There isn't actually any proof of this happening since he didn't put any photos, but still not a smart thing to say knowing how Twitter is. Bed rotting. Bed rotting is a term that got popular in the last 2 years. It's when you sit in your bed with your phone, laptop, or other time waster of choice, usually for multiple hours. This is kind of becoming an epidemic since quarantine, especially with people in their teenage years, with social media becoming more and more addictive as we go on. Bed rotting is an extremely self-destructive thing to do. It often comes with depression, or ends up causing it. If you're doing it right now while watching this, go get your stuff done, man. This video will still be here when you're done. Bella the Wolf. Bella the Wolf is someone who makes gacha life videos and looks for attention through rage bait. She does this by making extremely controversial videos, like ones that mock religion or different events. I kind of have mixed opinions if I want to include people like this on the Iceberg, because it's very, very obvious that all they want on the internet is attention, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. Most likely because they don't get enough in real life, which is really sad. And I'm kind of just giving right into that. But I'll keep it brief and just move on to the next one. Benadryl Challenge. The Benadryl Challenge is a quote-unquote challenge where you take a bunch of Benadryl allergy medication and try to get high. The max amount of Benadryl you're supposed to take is 12 a day. The challenge actually urged for 12 at once. Multiple people have ended up dying from this. Very young, really depressing, so don't do this. Bilibili. Bilibili is a Chinese video sharing website pretty similar to YouTube. It also has a live streaming platform, and there's lots of anime related stuff on there. Besides that, there's not much to it. Bing Soy. Bing Soy is a mysterious Team Fortress 2 player that got popular after a video was made about him. He uses unconventional tactics, and his playstyle is just kind of weird, but also really good at the same time. He doesn't really communicate very much, and he does it through cryptic MS Paint drawings. His story is pretty interesting, so you should check out a video made by El Maxo if you're interested. Bird Box Challenge. The Bird Box Challenge is a challenge where you do everyday things blindfolded, such as driving. It comes from the movie Bird Box, where the characters wear a blindfold all the time. The challenge was intended to be done on games, but some YouTubers did the 24-hour videos, and yeah, people replicated it. Obviously, people are going to take the challenge way too far and do it while driving, and they actually ended up causing wrecks sometimes, or other stupid stuff, so don't try this. Blackout Challenge. Feels like anything can become a challenge. The Blackout Challenge is where you choke yourself until you black out. Not sure what the goal of doing this is ever going to be, but it was popular on TikTok, and sadly over 20 people have actually died by trying to do this challenge. Blankroomsoup.avi. Blankroom Soup is a video on YouTube, and it contains a dude crying while eating a bowl of soup. These two alien looking things come in and kind of rub him. The explanations on this video have been done to death, so I won't waste your time, but it's really strange, and I don't know if the reason for its existence has ever actually been found out yet. Blockland. Blockland is a game functionally similar to Roblox. It takes on the appearance of Legos and was released in 2004. It was pretty popular in the late 2000s, being a competitor for Roblox. Minecraft wasn't really relevant yet. You can find videos on YouTube comparing the two games, which are really nostalgic. The Blue Whale Challenge / Jonathan Galindo. The Blue Whale Challenge was a 2017 internet challenge, which wants you to do a daily, usually self-destructive, activity to get to the final day where it tells you to take your own life. The challenge has unfortunately been linked to the loss of many lives. The challenge faded out of relevance once the news stopped writing about it, but it received a second wave in 2020 when accounts named Jonathan Galindo started to appear everywhere on sites like Discord, Facebook, and Roblox. They all share this creepy mouse PFP, and a lot of the accounts will try to host the Blue Whale Challenge to whoever they talk to. Boat Jumping Challenge. In 2023, an Alabama local news station reported the deaths of 4 people that unfortunately drowned after trying a TikTok challenge. This is what the boat jumping challenge refers to. Some sources claim, including TikTok themselves, that a TikTok challenge wasn't involved at all in the deaths, and was never even trending before the incident occurred. Looking on Google Trends, you can see that it didn't have much traction until the news sites picked up on it, but that's, I guess, a little bit expected. Bonby Bonkers. Bonby Bonkers is a popular cosplayer and TikToker and OnlyFans creator. I'm not sure why specifically she's on the Iceberg, since the only thing I could really find about her is a couple of obscure communities. Let me know if you know anything about her. Border Irish. Border Irish is a joke Twitter account made in 2018 that pretends to be the border between Ireland and the UK. The account posted a lot about Brexit and British politics, and the account had over 100,000 followers at one point, and it even came out with a book that was pretty much the same thing. The account has been inactive since July of 2024 and now sits at 88k followers. The Breakfast Question. The Breakfast Question is a sort of IQ test that goes, how would you have felt yesterday if you didn't eat breakfast? Most people would probably say they would have felt hungry. But according to the test, the low IQ response would be, what are you talking about? I did eat breakfast. The reason for it being low IQ is that the responder is unable to take the question as a hypothetical. The connection between this test and actual IQ is debated though. Burger Planet. Burger Planet is a streamer who is most known for this video.
Is it cool if I come, man? Come on, you said I could come on earlier.
Same people as before, we don't have enough seats.
You said and I just ate a worm and shit. Dude, it's sketchy out here. I don't have to walk back through there.
I mean, why'd you come here?
I came here to see you guys. You said I could come with you.
He puts himself in embarrassing, cringe, or sad scenarios, intentionally or not. And by the way, these people that get a lot of trolls because of the way they act actually have a special name, and it's lolcow, so keep that in mind because there's a lot of them on this iceberg. And to end this video off, we have one more entry. Bush did 9/11. So Bush did 9/11 is a theory, to put it short, that the September 11th attacks were staged as an excuse to launch the war on terror. For what reason? Oil. George Bush's vice president, Dick Cheney, was the CEO of the oil company named Halliburton until he became the vice president. This dude became a big part of the theory due to his attachment to the company in the war on terror. Look at that stock. One of the official reasons for the US going to Iraq was to find weapons of mass destruction, which, depending on who you ask, never were found. Another point within this theory is the building named World Trade Center 7, which is often not talked about. The building, despite being a very fireproof building, caught fire after the first plane hit the first tower and burned for over 7 hours and fell straight down into its footprint. The theory is a very deep topic to go into, and you could find perspectives saying the entire thing was an inside job to only partially one. The theory also became a pretty big meme, and it was circled around in the early days of the internet, especially due to the Wild West nature of the internet at the time. Well, that's where we will be stopping our journey today. I hope you enjoyed listening to me yap about this random crap for half an hour, and maybe even learn something. And if you did, I really appreciate it. If you could, let me know what I should change or what you liked about the video in the comments. You know, I'm a channel with 9 subscribers right now, so it helps a lot. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, so go enjoy the weekend, you guys.